Hello and welcome to this Come to Jesus daily devotional. I trust you are well. We continue in Luke, exploring who Jesus is. This devotional is entitled Zechariah's Song. We've been looking at Mary's song and now we've got Zechariah's song. Let's read from Luke 1, 67 to 80. His father, Zechariah, was filled with the Holy Spirit and prophesied, "Praise be to the Lord, the God of Israel, because he has come to his people and has redeemed them. He raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David, as he said through his holy prophets long ago, salvation from our enemies and from the hand of all who hate us, to show mercy to our ancestors and to remember his holy covenant, the oath he swore to our father Abraham, to rescue us from the hand of our enemies and to enable us to serve him without fear, in holiness and righteousness before him all our days. And you, my child, will be called a prophet of the Most High, for you will go on before the Lord to prepare the way for him, to give his people the knowledge of salvation through the forgiveness of their sins, because of the tender mercy of our God, by which the rising sun will come to us from heaven to shine on those living in darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the path of peace. And the child grew and became strong in spirit, and he lived in the wilderness until he appeared publicly to Israel. Luke 1, 67 to 80. In summary, the Holy Spirit inspires prophecy, which strengthens, encourages and comforts. The Holy Spirit inspires prophecy, which strengthens, encourages and comforts. The Holy Spirit inspires prophecy. We read, his father, the father of John the Baptist, Zechariah, was filled with the Holy Spirit and prophesied. As with Elizabeth in verse 41, when Zechariah is filled with the Holy Spirit, he begins to prophesy. He begins to praise God as he's inspired by the Holy Spirit. Prophecy is a broad idea, a broad term which speaks of speech that is inspired by the Holy Spirit, revelation from the Holy Spirit. It's a broad idea. Prophecy can be foretelling, that's predictive, speaking of the future. It can be forthtelling, that's revelation of truth and praising the truth about God. And Zechariah's song and Mary's song contain both elements of forthtelling and foretelling. Zechariah speaks of Jesus' ministry, he speaks of John the Baptist's ministry. He foretells their ministry as he's inspired by the Holy Spirit. He sings of the Redeemer, the King. That's verses 68 to 69. Firstly, he sings of the Redeemer, the King. He sings of Jesus as a horn of salvation. This idea is horn sounds a bit strange, doesn't it? But it's like a bull has horns. The idea of horns speaks of strength and rule. So as Zechariah is inspired by the Spirit, he speaks of Jesus being a mighty Saviour. When we're inspired by the Holy Spirit, we trust and we bow to Jesus as a mighty Saviour and we help others to see Jesus' strength and his power and his rule. The Holy Spirit also inspires him to speak of him as King and Redeemer. Jesus is King and Redeemer. Redemption speaks of being brought and bought out of slavery. Jesus has brought and bought us out of the kingdom of darkness into the kingdom of light. His blood, his death for us was our redemption price. When we are inspired by the Spirit, we have a fresh appreciation of our redemption and the cost that Jesus paid to bring us out of slavery and into his kingdom. And we help others to admire Jesus as King and Redeemer. Thirdly, he sings of God as one who keeps his promises. That's verses 70 to 75. Zechariah praises God for keeping his promises to David and to Abraham. God keeps his covenant promises. God is not a man that he should lie. He speaks and acts. What he says he will do, and what he promised to David and what he promised to Abraham, he is fulfilling in Jesus, bringing the Saviour and King and victory that comes through him into the world. Finally, he sings of hope, verses 76 to 80. He prophesies of the ministry of his son John, who will be the forerunner, the prophet, to prepare people for Jesus, the Lord, who is coming. And Jesus is going to come and bring mercy and eternal hope to the world and to his people. Jesus is compared to the rising of the sun on a dark and dead place. If we know Jesus, the darkness has been dispelled, and light and life and forgiveness through the tender mercy of God has come to us. This is the good news for you and for me. However we feel, this is the truth. This is our present reality that will be fully realized when Jesus comes again. We're enjoying this rising of the sun, as it were, but soon Jesus is going to come again, and sin and death and all darkness will be no more. John the Baptist's ministry is like the beginning of a symphony. It's a small note that's growing and growing and growing and growing and growing, and the symphony, and will finally come with a crescendo when Jesus comes again and restores all things. But it begins with this single voice of Jesus, of John the Baptist in the wilderness, introducing the world to Jesus. And he is coming, this rising sun. It will culminate in a great crescendo of the restoration of all things. When we're inspired by the Holy Spirit through prophecy or to prophesy, we help people to find hope in this dark world through Christ. So, in response, let's be inspired by this piece of writing, by Mary's song, by Zechariah's song. Let's be inspired by the beautiful words. Let's meditate and reflect upon these wonderful phrases in these songs. The Holy Spirit inspired these words to encourage us, and he also wants to work through you and me to bring inspired words of prophecy, to bring encouragement, to draw people's eyes off their problems up to the tender mercy and the rising sun who is Jesus. God bless you.